Chosen ones, you finally did what God has been waiting for. And let me tell you, God is impressed with you this morning. Your heart, your faith, your unwavering steps forward. They've caught his attention in a way that's shaking the heavens. You've stood firm through storms, faced doubts head-on, and chosen to walk in truth when the world tried to pull you away. This isn't just another day. This is the moment where everything shifts, where God's eyes are on you, ready to pour out blessings that will leave you speechless. You're not here by chance. You're here because you've answered a divine call, and now the Creator is ready to show you what He's been preparing all along. Your journey hasn't been easy. You've walked through valleys where shadows whispered lies, where every step felt heavy with uncertainty. Maybe it was a loss that tested your spirit, a betrayal that cut deep, or a dream that seemed to slip through your fingers. But you didn't break. You kept moving, kept trusting, kept holding on to that quiet voice inside that said, "This isn't the end." That's what God saw this morning, your refusal to give up. When others would have turned back, you pressed forward. When the world expected you to crumble, you stood taller. And that, chosen one, is why the heavens are stirring. God isn't just watching. He's moved by your courage, your persistence, your heart that refuses to let go of hope. Right now, I need you to do something. Pause this video, hit that like button, and type 777 inches the comments. That number carries the energy of divine completion, a signal to the universe that you're ready for what God has in store. Don't skip this. It's not just a comment, it's a declaration that you're claiming the blessings headed your way. Your action aligns your spirit with the moment God is crafting for you. And if you feel this message resonating deep in your soul, subscribe to join thousands of chosen ones walking this path together. Your presence here strengthens this community of light. Think about David facing Goliath with nothing but a sling and a stone. The world saw a boy, weak and outmatched, but God saw a heart that trusted him completely. You've got that same heart. Every time you chose faith over fear, you slung a stone at the giants in your life. Every time you prayed through tears, you built an altar of trust. God's been watching, noting every moment you chose to believe in His plan over the world's noise. This morning, He's saying, "Well done," not because you're perfect, but because you're faithful. Your steps, even the shaky ones, have led you to this divine moment where God is ready to open doors you never imagined. The world might not see it yet, but you're changing. There's a light in you that's growing brighter, a strength that's becoming unshakable. Maybe you've noticed it, how people look at you differently, how situations that used to overwhelm you now feel manageable. That's not coincidence. That's God's hand at work, reshaping you from the inside out. Your spirit is aligning with His purpose, and it's showing in your eyes, your voice, your very presence. You're not just surviving anymore. You're stepping into a season where you thrive. God's impressed because you've chosen to rise, even when it was easier to stay down. Let's talk about what's coming. God doesn't just notice your faith and move on. When He's impressed, He acts. The blessings He's preparing aren't small, they're life-altering. Picture a river, steady and endless, flowing with opportunities, healing, and abundance. That's what's headed your way. Financial struggles, God's about to shift them. Broken relationships, He's mending what's worth saving and clearing space for what aligns with His plan. Health that's been fading, He's breathing renewal into your body. These aren't empty promises, they're the result of a God who sees your heart and says, "This one's ready." Type 777 inches the comments again if you feel this truth sinking in. Let the heavens know you're not just hearing this, you're claiming it. Your faith is a magnet, pulling God's promises closer. Don't let doubt creep in and steal this moment. You've worked too hard, believed too long, to let fear dim your light. God's impressed because you've shown up, day after day, even when the path was unclear. Now, He's clearing the way, setting the stage for miracles that will mark this season as the one where everything changed. Look at Esther in the Bible, a young woman, seemingly ordinary, placed in a palace for a purpose she didn't fully understand. When the moment came, she didn't hesitate. She stepped into her calling, risking everything to save her people. God was impressed by her courage, and He moved mountains through her. You're standing in your own Esther moment. The choices you've made, choosing love over anger, faith over despair, action over stagnation, have positioned you for divine favor. God's not just impressed, He's ready to move through you, to make you a vessel for His glory. Your past doesn't define this moment. Maybe you've stumbled, doubted, or felt unworthy. Let that go. God's not counting your mistakes. He's counting your steps forward. Every time you chose to pray instead of curse, to forgive instead of hate, to stand instead of fall, you impressed Him. This morning, He's looking at you with a smile, saying, "This is my child, who's walked through fire and still shines." That's not just a compliment, it's a divine endorsement. The Creator of the universe is backing you, ready to turn your faithfulness into a story that echoes for generations. What's next is bigger than you can imagine. God's plans aren't limited by what you see now. That job you're praying for, it might be a stepping stone to something greater. That healing you're seeking, it's coming, but it might look different than you expect. God's blessings are creative, tailored to your unique journey. He's not just giving you what you want, He's giving you what fulfills His purpose for your life. Trust that. Lean into it. The same God who parted seas and raised the dead is working in your life, and He doesn't do small things. Type 777 one more time in the comments. Let it be your final declaration that you're ready for God's next move. This isn't just about a number, it's about aligning your spirit with the divine flow that's already begun. You're not waiting for God anymore. He's waiting for you to step fully into what He's prepared. Subscribe now to stand shoulder to shoulder with other chosen ones, a community that's rising together in faith. Your presence here isn't just for you, it's for everyone who'll be touched by your light. Consider Noah, who built an ark when the world laughed. They called him crazy, but God called him faithful. Every hammer strike was an act of trust. Every plank laid a testament to his belief in God's word. You've been building your own ark, chosen one. Every prayer, every moment of perseverance, every choice to keep going despite the mockers, that's your ark. God's impressed because you didn't stop when the rain wasn't yet falling. Now, the clouds are gathering, and the flood of blessings is about to pour down. This moment isn't just about you. Your transformation is a beacon, a signal to others that God's promises are real. When you walk in this divine favor, people notice. They see the peace in your eyes, the strength in your step, the joy that doesn't make sense given what you've been through. That's God's signature on your life. You're not just living for yourself. You're living proof that faith works. Your story is becoming a testimony that will inspire others to trust, to rise, to believe in the God who sees and rewards. The enemy thought they could stop you. They threw obstacles, doubts, and distractions your way, expecting you to falter. But you didn't. You stood firm, rooted in faith. And that's why God's impressed. The devil's plans backfired. Every attack only made you stronger. Every lie only sharpened your truth. Now, the enemy's watching in awe, realizing they can't touch a soul anchored in God's purpose. Your light isn't just shining, It's exposing every shadow, making it clear who's really in control. Picture a seed buried in dark soil, pressed down by weight and silence. It doesn't look like much, but inside, it's alive, pushing toward the surface. That's you, chosen one. You've been in the dark, growing quietly, trusting God's timing. This morning, He's saying, it's time to break through. The soil's cracking open, and the life you've been nurturing in faith is about to bloom. God's impressed because you didn't give up in the dark, you kept reaching for the light. Type 777 one last time in the comments if you're ready to step into this new season. Let it be your seal of faith, a marker that you're claiming God's promises. You've impressed Him with your heart, your choices, your refusal to quit. Now, He's ready to impress you with what He can do. The gates of heaven are swinging wide, and the blessings are coming fast. You're not just chosen, you're cherished, seen, and about to be overwhelmed by God's goodness. Let's talk about what it means to impress God. It's not about perfection or grand gestures. It's about the quiet moments when you chose to trust Him over your fears. It's the times you forgave when it hurt, loved when it was hard, believed when it seemed impossible. Those moments, small as they seemed, were monumental in God's eyes. They showed Him a heart willing to follow, no matter the cost. That's why He's moving now, ready to reward your faithfulness with blessings that overflow. Think of Abraham, called to leave everything familiar for a land he didn't know. He didn't have a map or a guarantee, just God's voice. Yet he went. Every step was a declaration of trust, and God was impressed. You've been walking your own unknown path, trusting when you couldn't see the way. Each step impressed God, proving you're ready for the promises He made long ago. Now, He's leading you to a land of abundance, where your faith will finally meet its reward. Your life is about to become a canvas for God's miracles. The struggles you've faced, they're not the end of your story, they're the setup. God's been using every challenge to shape you, to prepare you for what's coming. The tears you've shed are watering the ground for a harvest you can't yet imagine. The battles you've fought have strengthened you for a victory that's already yours. God's impressed because you didn't let the pain define you, you let it refine you. This isn't just about blessings, it's about purpose. God didn't choose you to live a small life. He chose you to carry His light into places others fear to go. Your faith, your resilience, your heart, they're tools in His hands. When you walk in this calling, you're not just receiving blessings, you're becoming one. Your life will touch others, heal broken places, and show the world what it looks like when God moves through a chosen one. That's the legacy you're building, starting today. The shift is happening now. You can feel it, can't you? That stirring in your spirit, that sense that something big is breaking through. God's impressed, and He's not staying silent. He's aligning opportunities, restoring what was lost, and opening doors no one can shut. Your job isn't to force these doors open, it's to walk through them with confidence, knowing God's already cleared the way. The same faith that impressed Him will carry you into this new season. Look at Joseph, sold into slavery, imprisoned, forgotten. Yet every hardship was a step toward his destiny. God was impressed by his faithfulness, even in the pit. When the time came, Joseph didn't just rise, he soared, becoming a leader who saved nations. You're in your Joseph moment. The pit taught you strength. The prison taught you patience. Now, God's lifting you up, ready to show the world what He can do through a heart that trusts Him. Your light is magnetic. It's why people are drawn to you, why opportunities are starting to appear, why even your enemies can't look away. God's impressed because you've let His light shine through you, even when it was hard. That light is about to grow brighter, illuminating paths you didn't know existed. You're not just walking into blessings, you're walking into a calling that will change lives, starting with your own. This morning, God saw you. He saw the choices you made, the prayers you whispered, the faith you held onto when everything seemed against you. He's not just impressed, he's proud. And when God's proud, he moves. Get ready, chosen one. The blessings, the breakthroughs, the miracles, they're not coming someday. They're coming now. Step into this moment with boldness, knowing the Creator of the universe is cheering you on, ready to show you what He's been planning all along. Your faithfulness has built something eternal. Every time you chose to trust God, you laid a brick in a foundation that can't be shaken. This isn't just about today's blessings, it's about a legacy that will outlast you. God's impressed because you've been building with Him, not against Him. Now, He's adding His touch, turning your foundation into a masterpiece. The world will see it, and they'll know it was God. The enemy tried to dim your light, but you shone brighter. They tried to break your spirit, but you grew stronger. That's what God saw this morning, your refusal to be anything less than who He created you to be. Now, He's stepping in, ready to reward you with a life that reflects His glory. The struggles are fading, chosen one. The season of overflow is here, and it's going to be bigger than you ever dreamed. Think of Ruth, who chose loyalty when she could have walked away. Her faithfulness impressed God, and He turned her story from loss to legacy. You've been Ruth, choosing to stay faithful when it would have been easier to quit. Now, God's writing the next chapter, and it's filled with favor, restoration, and joy. Your loyalty to Him hasn't gone unnoticed. It's about to be rewarded in ways that will take your breath away. This is your moment to rise. God's not just impressed, He's invested. He's been shaping you, testing you, preparing you for a purpose that's bigger than you can see. The blessings coming aren't just for you, they're for the lives you'll touch, the hearts you'll heal, the world you'll change. Step into this season with confidence, knowing God's got your back. You've impressed Him, and now He's about to impress you with what He can do. Your heart's been a battlefield, but you've won. Every time you chose love, forgiveness, or faith, you claimed victory. God's been watching, and He's not just clapping, He's moving heaven and earth to honor your choices. The doors He's opening aren't just for success, they're for significance. You're not just getting blessings, you're becoming a blessing, a living testament to what happens when a chosen one trusts God completely. The world might not understand your journey. They see the struggles, the delays, the moments you felt alone. But God sees the whole picture. He sees the faith that kept you going, the prayers that reached His throne, the heart that refused to harden. This morning, He's saying, I'm proud of you. And when God's proud, He doesn't hold back. Get ready for a season where His favor overflows, where your life becomes a story of miracles that no one can deny. Your story's not over, it's just beginning. God's impressed because you've stayed true, even when the path was rough. Now, He's turning the page, ready to write a chapter filled with joy, abundance, and purpose. You've done what He's been waiting for, chosen one. You've trusted, you've persevered, you've shone. Now, watch what He does with a heart like yours. The best is yet to come. Chosen ones, your faithfulness has set something in motion that even the heavens can't ignore. God saw you this morning, not just standing firm, but choosing to love when hate was easier, choosing to hope when despair was knocking. That's not just strength, that's divine power. You've been planting seeds in the Spirit, trusting God's timing even when the ground felt barren. Now, those seeds are sprouting, and the harvest is about to overwhelm you. God's impressed because you didn't demand results, you trusted his process, and that trust is unlocking doors no one can shut. Your journey's been a quiet revolution. While others shouted for attention, you worked in silence, building faith one prayer at a time. Think of Hannah in the Bible, pouring her heart out in the temple, unnoticed by the world, but seen by God. Her silent cries moved him to give her Samuel, a prophet who changed history. Your quiet faith, your unseen battles, they've moved God too. He's not just impressed, he's crafting a story through you that will echo beyond your lifetime, a legacy of trust that shifts nations. The world might see you as ordinary, but God sees a warrior. Every time you chose to forgive, you disarmed darkness. Every time you stood up after falling, you claimed ground the enemy thought was theirs. Your heart's been a battlefield, but it's also been a sanctuary, a place where God's light grows stronger with every choice you make. He's impressed because you've made room for him, even when life tried to crowd you out. Now, he's filling that space with blessings that will spill over into every corner of your life. Your resilience is a magnet for miracles. You didn't just survive the storms, you learned to dance in them. Like Peter stepping out on the water, you've trusted God's voice over the chaos around you. Even when you stumbled, you kept your eyes on him. That's why God's moving now, aligning opportunities that fit your unique calling. The job, the relationship, the breakthrough you've been praying for, they're not just coming, they're being tailored to your purpose, designed to make you shine brighter than ever. The enemy thought they could outsmart you. They threw distractions, delays, and doubts, expecting you to lose focus. But you saw through the fog. You recognized their tactics and chose God's truth instead. That's not just wisdom, that's divine discernment. God's impressed because you've learned to hear his voice above the noise, to follow his path even when it curved unexpectedly. Now, he's clearing the way, removing obstacles, and setting you up for a season where victory feels effortless. Your life's becoming a living testimony. People around you are starting to notice your peace, your strength, the way you carry yourself. They might not say it, but they're watching, wondering what's different. It's God's hand on you, chosen one. You're not just living for yourself anymore. You're a beacon, showing others what faith can do. God's impressed because you've let his light shine through you, even when it was hard. That light's about to get brighter, drawing in those who need your hope. Think of Daniel in the lion's den. The world expected him to be devoured, but God saw his trust and shut the lions' mouths. Your life's been a den of challenges, but you've trusted God to protect you. Every time you prayed instead of panicked, you closed a lion's mouth. God's impressed because you didn't let fear win. Now, he's preparing a stage for you to walk out of that den, unharmed, with a story that proves his power to everyone watching. Your heart's alignment with God's will is why this moment feels different. You've been pruning away what doesn't belong, old habits, toxic connections, limiting beliefs. That wasn't easy, but it was necessary. Like a gardener preparing a tree for fruit, God's been shaping you for abundance. He's impressed because you didn't resist the pruning. You trusted his hands. Now, the fruit is coming, blessings that won't just satisfy you, but will feed others through your generosity and love. The world's rules don't apply to you anymore. Society says success comes from hustle, from fighting tooth and nail. But you've learned a different way, God's way. You've trusted his timing, his plan, his strength. That's why he's impressed. You didn't chase the world's version of success. You chased his purpose. Now, he's bringing success to you, not as a reward for effort, but as a gift for faith. Doors are opening, not because you forced them, but because God's turning the key. Your story's taking a turn toward glory. Like Moses at the burning bush, you've been called to something bigger than yourself. He didn't feel ready, but God saw his heart and chose him anyway. You might not feel ready either, but God's impressed by your willingness to say yes. That yes is unlocking a path where miracles meet you at every step. The Red Sea in your life, the impossible obstacles, is about to part, revealing a way only God could make. Every choice you've made to trust God has been a brick in a bridge to your destiny. You didn't build it alone, his hands guided yours. Now, you're crossing that bridge into a season where promises become reality. God's impressed because you didn't stop building, even when the work felt heavy. The other side is closer than you think, filled with opportunities, connections, and blessings that reflect his love for you. Keep walking, chosen one. He's leading you to a place of rest and reward. The enemy's lies can't touch you now. They tried to convince you you're not enough, that your dreams are too big, that God's forgotten you. But you saw through it. You chose God's truth over their whispers, and that's why he's impressed. Your discernment is a weapon, cutting through deception like a blade. Now, God's amplifying that gift, giving you clarity to see what's ahead and wisdom to navigate it. The path is opening, and it's lined with his favor. Your faith has been a fire, burning away what doesn't belong, like gold refined in a furnace. You've come through trials, stronger, purer, brighter. God's impressed because you didn't run from the heat, you let it shape you. Now, he's placing you where your light can shine for others to see. The job you're seeking, the healing you need, the love you've prayed for, they're not just possibilities, they're promises God's ready to fulfill. Your fire's about to light up the world. Think of Elijah, calling down fire from heaven. He didn't doubt God's power, even when the odds were stacked against him. You've got that same boldness, chosen one. Every prayer you've spoken, every step you've taken in faith, has been a call for God's fire. He's impressed because you believed he'd answer. Now, that fire's coming not to consume you, but to confirm you. It's a sign to the world that God's with you, and his plans for you are unstoppable. Your life's becoming a magnet for divine connections. The people God's sending aren't random, they're part of his plan. Like Ruth meeting Boaz, your faithfulness is positioning you to cross paths with those who lift you higher. God's impressed because you didn't force these connections. You trusted him to bring them. Now, he's orchestrating meetings, opportunities, and moments that will change your trajectory. Stay open, chosen one. Your next encounter could be the key to your next season. The weight of your past is lifting. God's seen every tear, every moment you felt alone, every time you wondered if you'd make it. He's impressed because you kept going, even when you couldn't see the way. Now, he's replacing that weight with wings. You're about to soar into a season where freedom feels real, where joy overtakes sorrow, where abundance drowns out lack. The chains are breaking, and God's hand is guiding you to a place of peace. Your heart's been a compass, pointing you toward God's truth, even when the world tried to spin you off course. Like the Magi following the star, you've kept your eyes on what matters. God's impressed because you didn't get distracted by the noise, you followed his light. Now, that star's leading you to a place of fulfillment, where your gifts will shine and your purpose will unfold. The journey's been long, but the destination is worth it. The enemy's plans are unraveling. They thought they could keep you stuck, but your faith broke their grip. God's impressed because you didn't let their schemes define you. You let his promises guide you. Now, he's turning their traps into stepping stones, leading you to higher ground. Every attack meant to stop you is becoming a testimony of God's power in your life. The world will see it, and they'll know who's really in charge. Your life's a canvas, and God's the artist. Every stroke, every trial, every victory has been intentional. He's impressed because you trusted his brush, even when the picture didn't make sense. Now, he's revealing the masterpiece. The colors are vibrant, the lines bold, the story breathtaking. You're not just a painting, you're a work of art that points to his glory. Step into this season, chosen one, and let the world see what God's created in you. The ground beneath you is shifting. You can feel it, a change in the air, a new rhythm in your spirit. God's impressed because you've stayed steady, trusting him through the tremors. Now, he's stabilizing your path, making it firm and clear. The dreams you've held, the prayers you've spoken, they're taking root, ready to grow into something tangible. This isn't just a moment, it's a movement, and God's leading you to the center of it. Think of Nehemiah, rebuilding Jerusalem's walls despite opposition. Every stone he laid was an act of faith. Every insult he ignored, a testament to his trust in God. You've been building your own walls, chosen one, protecting your purpose from doubt and fear. God's impressed because you didn't let the mockers stop you. Now, he's strengthening those walls, making them unbreakable, and preparing a city of blessings for you to walk into. Your faith has been a seed, small but mighty. Like the mustard seed Jesus spoke of, it's grown into something that can't be ignored. God's impressed because you planted it in hard soil, trusting it would grow. Now, it's breaking through, reaching for the sky. The branches of your faith will shelter others, your roots will anchor you, and your growth will testify to God's power. This is your season to flourish. Chosen one, embrace it with all your heart. The enemy's voice is fading. Their lies, once loud, are now whispers, drowned out by God's truth. You've impressed him by choosing his word over their noise, his promises over their threats. Now, he's amplifying his voice in your life, speaking clarity, direction, and hope. Listen closely. He's guiding you to a place where doubt can't follow, where fear can't reach, where only his love remains. Step forward, knowing you're covered by his grace. Chosen ones, your heart's been a lighthouse, standing firm against crashing waves of doubt and fear. God saw you this morning, shining through the storm, guiding others to safety even when you felt unsteady. That's why he's impressed your light didn't flicker, even when the winds howled. Now, he's turning up the brightness, making your presence undeniable. The blessings coming aren't just for you, they're for every soul drawn to your glow, ready to find hope in your unwavering faith. You've been walking a path others couldn't see. Like John the Baptist, crying out in the wilderness, you've prepared the way for something greater. Your prayers, your resilience, your quiet trust, they've cleared a space for God's glory to land. He's impressed because you didn't need applause to keep going. You trusted his voice over the crowd's silence. Now, he's sending a wave of favor, a rush of opportunities that will make the world take notice of what he's doing through you. The battles you've fought have forged a strength that's rare. Every time you chose to stand instead of run, you sharpened a sword no enemy can dull. God's impressed because you didn't wield that sword in anger. You used it to cut through lies, to carve out truth. Now, he's placing you in a season where your strength shines, where your battles become victories others will tell for generations. The scars you carry are proof of his protection, and they're about to become badges of his power. Your faith has been a river, flowing steadily through dry seasons. Even when the ground cracked and hope seemed scarce, you kept moving forward, trusting God's source. He's impressed because you didn't stop at the desert, you believed in the stream. Now, that river's swelling, ready to overflow with abundance, healing, and joy. The dreams you thought were parched are about to bloom, watered by a God who never lets his faithful go thirsty. Think of Deborah, the prophetess who led with wisdom when chaos reigned. She didn't wait for permission, she trusted God's call and stepped into her role. You've done the same, chosen one, answering his voice when others hesitated. God's impressed because you didn't shrink back. You stood bold in your purpose. Now, he's positioning you to lead, to inspire, to show others what it looks like when faith meets action. Your influence is growing, and it's all by his design. The world tried to box you in, to tell you who you could be, but you broke free, choosing God's vision over their limits. That's why he's impressed you, saw yourself through his eyes, not theirs. Now, he's expanding your horizons, opening spaces where your gifts can shine without restraint. The career you're chasing, the love you're seeking, the purpose you're building, they're all coming into focus, shaped by a God who sees no boundaries for his chosen. Your prayers have been a bridge, connecting earth to heaven. Every word you've spoken, every cry you've lifted, has reached God's throne. He's impressed because you prayed, even when answers seemed far. Now, that bridge is carrying blessings back to you, resources, opportunities, peace that surpasses understanding. You didn't just pray for yourself, you prayed for others. And God's honoring that selflessness with a harvest that will touch every life you've lifted up. The enemy thought they could silence you. They sent noise, confusion, and chaos to drown out your faith. But you sang louder, praising God through the storm. That's why he's impressed you turned their attacks into worship. Now, he's turning your worship into power, your praise into breakthroughs. The obstacles that stood in your way are crumbling, and the path ahead is lit with his glory. Keep singing, chosen one. Your voice is shifting the atmosphere. Your heart's been a garden, nurturing faith in places others saw as barren. Like Mary Magdalene, you've stayed faithful through pain, trusting God's plan, even when it hurt. He's impressed because you didn't let bitterness take root, you chose love instead. Now, he's tending that garden, bringing growth where there was once only struggle. The relationships you've lost, the dreams you've buried, they're being restored, blooming with a beauty only God could create. The world's been a mirror, reflecting doubts and fears back at you, but you looked past it, seeing God's truth instead. That's why he's impressed you, chose his reflection over the world's distortion. Now, he's polishing that mirror, showing you who you really are. Chosen, powerful, destined for greatness. The confidence you feel growing inside isn't pride. It's the assurance of a God who's proud of you, ready to reveal his masterpiece to the world. Think of Jonah, running from God's call only to find himself in the belly of a whale. You've had your own whale moments, times when you questioned the path, but you didn't stay there. You turned back to God, trusting his direction. He's impressed because you chose obedience over comfort. Now, he's sending you to your Nineveh, a place where your purpose will save lives, shift destinies, and prove his power. The journey's been tough, but the impact will be eternal. Your faith has been a fire, burning brighter with every test. The world tried to douse it, but you kept it alive, feeding it with trust in God's promises. He's impressed because you didn't let the flames die. Now, he's adding his fire, turning your spark into a blaze that lights up the darkness. The dreams you've held, the goals you've chased, they're about to catch fire, fueled by a God who loves to see his chosen shine. The enemy's schemes are unraveling before your eyes. They thought they could chain you, but your faith broke every link. God's impressed because you didn't let their lies hold you. You claimed his freedom instead. Now, he's opening gates, leading you to places of abundance and peace. The chains that once felt heavy are gone, replaced by a lightness that comes from walking in his truth. You're not just free, you're unstoppable. Your life's been a tapestry, woven with threads of pain and promise. Every struggle, every victory has been a stitch in God's design. He's impressed because you trusted his hands, even when the pattern wasn't clear. Now, he's revealing the full picture, a story of redemption, strength, and glory. The world will see it, chosen one, and they'll know it was God who wove it, using your faith as the thread that holds it together. The ground you stand on is holy. Every step you've taken in faith has sanctified the path beneath you. Like Joshua circling Jericho, your persistence has shaken walls the world thought were unbreakable. God's impressed because you kept walking, even when the victory seemed far. Now, those walls are falling, and the land of promise is yours to claim. Step boldly, chosen one. God's already given you the victory. Your heart's been a compass, guiding you through storms others couldn't navigate. You've trusted God's direction, even when the way was unclear. He's impressed because you didn't rely on your own map, you followed his. Now, he's leading you to a place of clarity, where every step feels sure, and every decision aligns with his purpose. The fog is lifting, and the path ahead is glowing with his favor. The enemy tried to steal your joy, but you held fast to God's peace. They sent chaos, but you found calm in his presence. That's why he's impressed you didn't trade his truth for their lies. Now he's restoring what was taken, doubling your joy, tripling your peace. The laughter you thought was lost is coming back, louder and stronger, a testament to a God who turns mourning into dancing. Think of Sarah, who laughed at God's promise of a child in her old age. She doubted, but she still believed enough to wait. You've waited too, chosen one, trusting God through seasons of silence. He's impressed because you didn't give up on the promise. Now, your laughter's coming not of doubt, but of joy, as God delivers what he spoke. The impossible is becoming reality, and it's all because you believed. Your faith has been a seed planted in rocky soil, yet it's grown against the odds. God's impressed because you didn't curse the rocks, you trusted him to make them fertile. Now, he's turning that soil into a garden where every dream, every prayer will take root and flourish. The harvest is coming, chosen one, and it's bigger than you imagined, filled with blessings that will feed your soul and others. The world's tried to dim your vision, but you've kept your eyes on God's horizon. Like Simeon, waiting for the Messiah, you've held on to hope when others let go. He's impressed because you didn't settle for less, you waited for his best. Now, that promise is arriving, not as a distant hope, but as a living reality. The vision you've carried is about to unfold, painted in colors only God could dream. Your heart's been a sanctuary, a place where God's peace dwells even in chaos. You've welcomed him in, even when the world tried to crowd him out. That's why he's impressed you, made room for him, no matter the cost. Now, he's filling that sanctuary with his presence, turning it into a source of strength, healing, and abundance. The doors you've opened to him are about to swing wide, revealing blessings that will overflow into every part of your life. The enemy thought they could bury you, but they didn't know you were a seed. Every trial they sent was just dirt God used to plant you deeper. He's impressed because you didn't fight the soil, you trusted his growth. Now, you're breaking through, reaching for the sun, ready to bloom in ways that will stun the world. Your roots are strong, your branches wide, and God's about to show what he can do with a seed that refuses to stay buried. Your faith has been a song sung in the dark when no one else could hear. Like Paul and Silas, praising God in prison, you've lifted your voice despite the chains. God's impressed because you didn't let the darkness silence you. Now, He's turning your song into a symphony, shaking the foundations of every obstacle in your path. The chains are falling, the doors are opening, and your melody is about to echo for all to hear. The world's tried to define your worth, but you've let God write your story. You've trusted His pen over their judgments, and that's why He's impressed. Now, He's turning the page, revealing a chapter where your value shines undeniable. The blessings coming aren't just gifts, they're affirmations of who you are in His eyes. Step into this chapter, chosen one, and let the world see the story God's writing through you. Think of Gideon, called mighty warrior, when he felt like the least. God saw what he couldn't, and He's seeing the same in you. Your humility, your trust, your willingness to answer His call, that's why He's impressed. Now, He's equipping you for battles you didn't know you could win, arming you with His strength. The victories ahead aren't just for you, they're for everyone who'll see God's power through your life. Your heart's been aflame, steady even in the strongest winds. You've carried God's light through places others wouldn't dare. He's impressed because you didn't hide that flame, you let it burn bright. Now, He's fanning it into a fire that can't be contained, one that will light up paths, warm cold hearts, and guide lost souls. Your light's not just for you, chosen one, it's for a world desperate for hope. The enemy tried to drown your dreams, but you built an ark of faith. Like Noah, you kept working, trusting God's word when the world mocked. He's impressed because you didn't stop at the laughter, you kept building. Now, the rain's coming, not to destroy but to lift you into a new season. The dreams you've carried are about to sail, carried by waters of God's favor, headed for a land of promise only He could design. Your life's been a letter, written by God's hand for others to read. Every trial, every triumph has been a word in His message. He's impressed because you've let Him write, even when the ink felt heavy. Now, He's sealing that letter with His promise, ready to deliver it to a world that needs your story. Your life's not just yours anymore. It's a testimony that will touch hearts and change lives. The ground you've walked has been sacred, marked by your faith in God's plan. Like Abraham, you've journeyed to unknown places, trusting His voice. He's impressed because you didn't demand a map, you followed His steps. Now, He's leading you to a land flowing with milk and honey, a place where your faith will bear fruit for generations. Keep walking, chosen one, the destination is closer than you think. Your heart's been a canvas, painted with prayers and promises. The world tried to smudge it, but you kept it clean for God's brush. He's impressed because you trusted His artistry, even when the colors didn't make sense. Now, He's adding the final strokes, revealing a masterpiece that will leave the world in awe. Your life's becoming a gallery of His glory, and it's only the beginning. The enemy thought they could steal your peace, but you anchored it in God. They sent storms, but you stood firm, trusting His calm. That's why He's impressed you didn't let chaos win. Now, He's stilling the waters, bringing a peace that flows deeper than you've ever known. The blessings coming will carry that peace, touching every part of your life, making you a vessel of His serenity. Think of Miriam, dancing by the Red Sea after God's deliverance. Your faith has been a dance, moving through trials with grace. He's impressed because you didn't stop when the music faded, you kept the rhythm of trust. Now, He's playing a new song, one that will lead you into a season of celebration. Your dance is about to inspire others, showing them what it looks like when God leads the steps. Your heart's been a fortress, guarding God's truth against the world's lies. You've held fast, even when the walls were tested. He's impressed because you didn't let the enemy breach your faith. Now, he's strengthening those walls, making them a stronghold for others to find refuge. The blessings coming will fortify your life, turning your fortress into a beacon of hope for all who see it. Chosen ones, your faith has been a compass, steering you through uncharted waters when the world offered no map. God saw you this morning, trusting his direction even when the horizon was hidden. That's why he's impressed you didn't demand clarity, you followed his whisper. Now, he's parting the clouds, revealing a path lined with his promises. The opportunities ahead, the healing you seek, the dreams you've carried, they're coming into view, guided by a God who never loses sight of you. You've been a builder, laying bricks of trust in a world that loves to tear down. Like Nehemiah reconstructing Jerusalem's walls, you've worked through opposition, believing in God's blueprint. He's impressed because you didn't let the critics stop you, you kept building. Now, he's adding his strength to your structure, turning it into a city of purpose. The walls you've raised will shelter your dreams and stand as a testament to his faithfulness for all to see. The storms you've faced have been a forge, shaping your spirit into something unbreakable. Every gust of doubt, every wave of fear only tempered your resolve. God's impressed because you didn't curse the storm, you learned its lessons. Now, he's calming the winds, bringing a season of peace where your strength shines. The trials that tested you are becoming trophies of his grace, proof that you've been refined for a greater purpose. Your heart's been a lantern, glowing in places others feared to tread. Like the wise virgins in Jesus' parable, you've kept your lamp filled with faith, ready for his call. He's impressed because you didn't let the darkness dim your light. You guarded it fiercely. Now, he's amplifying that glow, making it a beacon that draws others to his truth. The blessings coming will fuel your light, illuminating paths for those lost in the shadows. The enemy tried to rewrite your story, but you held fast to God's pen. They offered lies, but you chose his truth, page after page. That's why he's impressed you, didn't let their edits change you. Now, he's writing a chapter of triumph, where every plot twist serves his glory. The struggles you've faced are turning into victories, each one a sentence in a story that will inspire generations to trust in his plan. Your steps have been a pilgrimage, each one a prayer on holy ground. Like the Israelites crossing the Jordan, you've moved forward despite the unknown. God's impressed because you didn't stop at the river's edge, you trusted him to make a way. Now, he's drying up the waters, leading you to a land of promise. The path ahead is paved with his favor, and every step you take is claiming ground for his kingdom. The world tried to cage your spirit, but you flew higher, trusting God's wings. Like an eagle soaring above the storm, you've risen above chaos with faith as your wind. He's impressed because you didn't settle for the ground, you aimed for the heavens. Now, he's lifting you higher, to heights where your dreams take flight. The opportunities coming will carry you to places only God could design, where your purpose soars. Your heart's been a seedbed, where faith has taken root despite rocky soil. Like the sower in Jesus' parable, you've scattered seeds of trust, not knowing which would grow. God's impressed because you didn't stop sowing, even when the ground seemed hard. Now, he's sending rain, turning your seeds into a harvest of abundance. The dreams you planted are sprouting, ready to feed your life and others with his provision. The enemy thought they could outrun you, but your faith set the pace. They tried to trip you with doubt, but you kept your eyes on God's finish line. That's why he's impressed you didn't race for the world's prize. You ran for his. Now, he's clearing the track, giving you a straight path to victory. The goals you've chased, the prayers you've held, they're crossing the line. Carried by his unstoppable momentum, your life's been a melody, hummed in the quiet when no one else heard. Like David playing his harp in the fields, you've offered God your song, even in solitude. He's impressed because you didn't need an audience to worship, you sang for him alone. Now, he's turning your melody into a symphony, one that will echo through lives and hearts. The blessings coming will harmonize with your faith, creating music the world can't ignore. The world tried to paint you in shadows, but you stood in God's light. You refused to let their darkness define you, choosing his truth instead. That's why he's impressed you didn't blend into the gloom, you shone brighter. Now he's adding colors to your life, vibrant hues of joy, peace, and purpose. The canvas of your story is glowing, a masterpiece that reflects his glory for all to see. Think of Rahab, who trusted God's promise despite her past. She didn't let her story define her, she let his redemption rewrite it. You've done the same, chosen one, believing in his grace over your mistakes. He's impressed because you didn't cling to shame, you reached for his mercy. Now, he's weaving your past into a tapestry of victory, where every thread tells of his love. The blessings coming will honor your trust, turning scars into stars. Your faith has been a flame, steady in the coldest nights. The world tried to snuff it out, but you guarded it with your heart. God's impressed because you didn't let the chill extinguish you, you kept burning. Now, he's adding fuel, turning your flame into a fire that warms and lights the way. The dreams you've held, the hopes you've nurtured, they're catching fire, ready to blaze a trail for his glory. The enemy tried to bury your purpose, but you rose like a seed through the dirt. They thought they could keep you down, but your faith pushed you upward. That's why God's impressed you didn't stay buried. You broke through. Now, he's nurturing your growth, sending sunlight and rain to make you flourish. The goals you've carried are blooming, and the world will see a garden grown by his hand. Your heart's been a harbor, offering refuge to God's truth in a stormy world. Like the ark that carried Noah's family, you've held fast to his promises through the flood. He's impressed because you didn't let the waves sink you, you trusted his design. Now, the waters are receding, and he's leading you to dry land. The blessings coming will anchor your life in peace, a safe haven for you and those you love. The world tried to silence your voice, but you spoke God's truth anyway. Like Jeremiah, you've shared his word, even when it was hard. He's impressed because you didn't bow to fear, you let his message flow. Now, he's amplifying your voice, making it a trumpet that heralds his kingdom. The words you speak, the prayers you pray, they're reaching further, touching lives and shifting destinies by his power. Your faith has been a bridge, spanning the gap between doubt and promise. You've walked it, even when it swayed, trusting God's foundation. That's why he's impressed you didn't turn back. You kept crossing. Now, he's strengthening that bridge, making it a highway for his blessings. The dreams you've carried, the hopes you've held, they're waiting on the other side, ready for you to claim them. The enemy tried to cloud your vision, but you saw through to God's light. They sent fog, but your faith was a lantern, guiding you forward. He's impressed because you didn't lose sight of his truth. Now, he's clearing the air, revealing a horizon bright with his plans. The opportunities ahead, the healing you need, they're coming into focus, lit by a God who sees every step you take. Think of Elizabeth, who carried a miracle in her womb despite her age. You've carried miracles too, chosen one, dreams that seemed impossible, hopes that defied logic. God's impressed because you didn't let time steal your faith. Now, he's birthing those miracles, bringing them to life in ways that will amaze you. The promises you've held are leaping, ready to change the world through His power. Your heart's been a battlefield, but you've fought with faith, not fear. Every clash with doubt, every stand against despair, has been a victory for God's kingdom. He's impressed because you didn't fight for yourself, you fought for His glory. Now, He's raising your banner, declaring your triumph. The battles you've won are becoming stories of His faithfulness, inspiring others to take up their own fight. The world tried to chain your spirit, but you danced in God's freedom. Like David before the ark, you've moved with joy, trusting His rhythm. He's impressed because you didn't let their shackles stop you. You kept dancing. Now, He's leading you into a season of celebration where your joy will overflow. The blessings coming will match your rhythm, turning your dance into a parade of His goodness. Your faith has been a spark, igniting hope in the darkest corners. The world tried to smother it, but you let it burn brighter. That's why God's impressed you, didn't let their darkness win. Now, He's turning that spark into a wildfire, spreading His light through your life. The dreams you've carried, the prayers you've prayed, they're catching fire, ready to blaze a path for His glory. The enemy thought they could steal your peace, but you anchored it in God's presence. They sent chaos, but you found calm in His arms. He's impressed because you didn't trade His serenity for their noise. Now, He's deepening that peace, making it a river that flows through every part of your life. The blessings coming will carry that calm, washing away every trace of turmoil. Your heart's been a canvas, painted with God's promises despite the world's doubts. Like Noah's Ark, you've built with faith, trusting His design. He's impressed because you didn't stop at the scoffers' laughter, you kept hammering. Now, He's launching your ark, sending it into waters of abundance. The dreams you've built are ready to sail, carrying you to a land of His provision. The world tried to dim your hope, but you held it high, a torch in the night. Like the shepherds watching for the star, you've kept your eyes on God's promise. He's impressed because you didn't let despair extinguish you. You kept looking up. Now, He's guiding you to a moment of glory, where your hope will shine for all to see. The blessings coming will light up your life, a beacon of His faithfulness. Chosen ones, your faith has been a riverbed, carved deep by years of trusting God's flow. Even when the waters seemed dry, you believed they'd come again. God saw you this morning, holding fast to His promise despite the drought. That's why He's impressed you, didn't abandon the riverbed. You waited for His rain. Now, He's sending a flood of blessings, filling your life with abundance that spills over, nourishing every dream you've carried and every heart you touch. You've been a watchman, standing guard over God's truth in a world full of noise. Like Habakkuk on the ramparts, you've kept your eyes open, trusting His answers would come. He's impressed because you didn't grow weary. You stayed vigilant. Now, He's sending visions of hope, clear and bright, showing you the path ahead. The promises you've held, the prayers you've whispered, they're unfolding, painted across the sky by a God who never forgets His faithful. The trials you've faced have been a crucible, melting away what doesn't belong. Every moment of pressure shaped you, not into something weaker, but stronger, purer. God's impressed because you didn't flee the heat, you let it refine you. Now, He's pulling you from the fire, revealing a heart polished for His purpose. The blessings coming will reflect that shine, turning your life into a mirror of His glory, seen by all who cross your path. Your heart's been a lighthouse, beaming through fog the world tried to cast. You've stood tall, guiding others even when you couldn't see far yourself. He's impressed because you didn't dim your light. You let it pierce the haze. Now, he's clearing the air, making your beacon brighter than ever. The opportunities ahead, the healing you've sought, they're drawn to your light, sailing toward you on waves of his favor. The enemy tried to uproot your faith, but you planted it deeper, rooted in God's word. They sent winds to shake you, but your roots held firm. That's why he's impressed you didn't sway. You grew stronger. Now he's nurturing your growth, sending sunlight to make you flourish. The dreams you've sown are sprouting, ready to bear fruit that feeds your soul and others, a harvest grown by his hand. Think of Anna, the prophetess who waited decades in the temple for God's promise. Your patience, your steadfast prayers mirror her devotion. He's impressed because you didn't give up on his timing, you trusted it. Now, he's bringing the fulfillment you've waited for, a moment where your faith meets his promise. The blessings coming will honor your wait, turning years of hope into a testimony of his faithfulness. Your life's been a scroll, written with God's words, despite the world's erasures. You've held on to his truth, even when others tried to rewrite it. He's impressed because you didn't let their pens touch your story. You kept his script. Now he's unrolling that scroll, revealing a narrative of triumph and grace. The chapters ahead are filled with his promises, each word a step toward a destiny only he could write. The world tried to drown your dreams, but you swam stronger, trusting God's current. Like Peter walking on water, you've kept your eyes on him, even when waves rose high. He's impressed because you didn't sink. You reached for his hand. Now, he's calming the sea, guiding you to solid ground. The goals you've chased, the hopes you've held, they're docking safely, carried by a God who steadies every step. Your faith has been a banner, raised high in battles others couldn't see. You've waved it boldly, declaring God's victory when defeat seemed near. That's why he's impressed you didn't lower your flag. You lifted it higher. Now, he's planting that banner on new ground, a place of triumph where your faith shines. The blessings coming will wave alongside it, proclaiming his power to everyone watching. The enemy thought they could steal your joy, but you found it in God's presence. They sent sorrow, but you turned it into praise. He's impressed because you didn't let their weight crush you. You danced instead. Now, he's turning your dance into a celebration, a festival of his goodness. The peace you've carried is multiplying, spreading to every corner of your life, a joy that no one can take. Your heart's been a furnace, burning with faith through the coldest nights. The world tried to freeze it, but you kept the fire alive. God's impressed because you didn't let the chill win you stoked in the flames. Now he's adding his fire, turning your furnace into a blaze that warms and lights the way. The dreams you've guarded are igniting, ready to shine as beacons of his power. Think of Lazarus, called from the tomb by Jesus' voice. You've had your own grave moments, times when hope seemed buried, but you trusted God's call, and that's why he's impressed you didn't stay in the dark. Now, he's shouting your name, bringing life to what felt dead. The dreams, relationships, and purposes you thought were lost are rising, wrapped in his glory, ready to walk again. The world tried to chain your purpose, but you broke free with God's strength. Like Samson pushing down the pillars, you've trusted his power over your limits. He's impressed because you didn't bow to weakness, you leaned on him. Now he's clearing the ruins, building a new temple for your calling. The blessings coming will stand tall, a monument to his strength working through you. Your faith has been a seed, small but mighty, planted in faith's soil. The world mocked its size, but you knew its potential. That's why God's impressed you, saw what he saw. Now, He's growing that seed into a tree, its branches wide, its roots deep. The dreams you've carried are bearing fruit, a harvest that will feed your life and others, grown by a God who loves small beginnings. The enemy tried to blind your vision, but you saw through God's eyes. They sent illusions, but you held fast to His truth. He's impressed because you didn't fall for their tricks. You trusted His clarity. Now, He's sharpening your sight, revealing paths others can't see. The opportunities ahead, the healing you need, they're coming into focus, lit by a God who guides every step. Your heart's been a refuge, a safe place for God's peace in a chaotic world. Like the ark in the flood, you've carried His presence through the storm. He's impressed because you didn't let the waves overwhelm you. You trusted His design. Now the waters are parting, and He's leading you to dry land. The blessings coming will anchor your life, a haven of His love for you and those around you. The world tried to mute your voice, but you spoke God's word anyway. Like Isaiah, you've shared His truth, even when it was hard. He's impressed because you didn't fear the silence, you let His message ring. Now, He's amplifying your voice, making it a call that echoes through lives. The words you speak, the prayers you pray, they're reaching further, shifting hearts by His power. Your faith has been a bridge, spanning doubts to reach God's promises. You've walked it, even when it trembled, trusting His foundation. That's why He's impressed you didn't turn back. You crossed over. Now, He's strengthening that bridge, turning it into a highway for His blessings. The dreams you've carried, the hopes you've held, they're waiting ahead, ready for you to claim. The enemy tried to cloud your hope, but you shone through with God's light. They sent darkness, but your faith was a star, guiding you forward. He's impressed because you didn't lose sight of His promise. Now, He's clearing the night, revealing a sky bright with His plans. The opportunities ahead, the restoration you seek, they're sparkling, lit by a God who sees your heart. Think of Mary, who said yes to God's impossible plan. You've said yes too, chosen one, trusting His call despite the odds. He's impressed because you didn't hesitate, you surrendered. Now, He's birthing miracles through your faith, bringing life to what seemed barren. The promises you've held are coming alive, ready to change the world through His power. Your heart's been a battlefield, but you've fought with love, not hate. Every clash with fear, every stand against despair, has been a victory for God's kingdom. He's impressed because you didn't fight for yourself, you fought for His glory. Now, He's raising your banner, declaring your triumph. The battles you've won are becoming stories of His faithfulness, inspiring others to rise. The world tried to cage your dreams, but you soared with God's wings. Like an eagle above the storm, you've risen with faith as your wind. He's impressed because you didn't settle for the ground, you aimed for His heights. Now, He's lifting you higher, to places where your purpose takes flight. The opportunities coming will carry you, designed by a God who loves to see you soar. Your faith has been a flame, burning bright in the darkest nights. The world tried to snuff it, but you guarded it with your heart. That's why God's impressed you, didn't let the darkness win. Now, He's fanning that flame, turning it into a fire that lights the way. The dreams you've carried, the prayers you've prayed, they're blazing, ready to shine for His glory. The enemy thought they could steal your peace, but you anchored it in God's presence. They sent chaos, but you found calm in His arms. He's impressed because you didn't trade His serenity for their noise. Now, He's deepening that peace, making it a river that flows through your life. The blessings coming will carry that calm, washing away every trace of turmoil. Your heart's been a canvas, painted with God's promises, despite the world's doubts. Like Noah's Ark, you've built with faith, trusting his design. He's impressed because you didn't stop at the scoffers' laughter, you kept building. Now, he's launching your ark, sending it into waters of abundance. The dreams you've built are ready to sail, carrying you to a land of his provision. The world tried to dim your hope, but you held it high, a torch in the night. Like the shepherds watching for the star, you've kept your eyes on God's promise. He's impressed because you didn't let despair extinguish you, you kept looking up. Now, he's guiding you to a moment of glory, where your hope will shine. The blessings coming will light up your life, a beacon of his faithfulness, chosen ones. Your faith has been a cornerstone, steadying a world shaken by chaos. God saw you this morning, standing firm when everything around you trembled. That's why he's impressed you didn't waver. You became a foundation for his truth. Now, he's building on that cornerstone, raising a structure of blessings that will stand for generations. The dreams you've carried, the prayers you've held, they're becoming pillars in a legacy that points to his glory. You've been a weaver, threading faith through the fabric of hardship. Like Joseph crafting his multicolored coat, you've woven trust into every tear and triumph. He's impressed because you didn't let the threads break, you kept weaving. Now, he's adding his colors, turning your life into a tapestry of joy and purpose. The struggles you've faced are becoming patterns of victory, a design that others will marvel at. Crafted by his hand, the storms you've endured have been a crucible, forging a spirit that shines like gold. Every trial polished you, not to weaken, but to reveal your strength. God's impressed because you didn't curse the fire, you trusted its purpose. Now, he's lifting you from the flames, showcasing a heart refined for his calling. The blessings coming will reflect that brilliance, turning your life into a beacon of his transformative power. Your heart's been a harbor, anchoring God's peace in turbulent seas. Like the disciples in the boat with Jesus, you've trusted him to calm the storm. He's impressed because you didn't jump ship, you held fast to his presence. Now, he's stilling the waters, guiding you to a shore of abundance. The opportunities ahead, the restoration you seek, they're docking safely, carried by a God who commands the waves. The enemy tried to silence your hope, but you sang it louder, a hymn in the dark. They sent despair, but you countered with praise. That's why God's impressed you, turned their attacks into worship. Now, he's amplifying your song, making it a melody that shifts the atmosphere. The dreams you've carried are harmonizing with his plans, becoming a chorus that echoes his goodness to the world. Think of Esther, stepping into the king's court with courage born of faith. You've stepped into your own courts, facing fears with God's strength. He's impressed because you didn't shrink back, you walked boldly. Now, he's preparing a banquet of blessings where your faith will be honored. The favor coming will open doors, placing you where your purpose can change lives. Just as Esther did, your life's been a letter, sealed with God's promises, despite the world's attempts to tear it. You've guarded his words, trusting their truth over lies. He's impressed because you didn't let the world rewrite you. You kept his script. Now, he's delivering that letter, its message clear and powerful. The blessings inside will unfold, telling a story of his faithfulness that others will read and believe. The world tried to bury your dreams, but you rose like a seed through the dirt. Like Lazarus hearing Jesus' call, you've trusted God's voice over the grave's silence. He's impressed because you didn't stay down, you answered his call. Now, he's breathing life into what seemed dead, resurrecting your hopes. The goals you've held are walking again, alive with his power, ready to testify to his glory. Your faith has been a lighthouse, guiding you through fog others couldn't pierce. You've kept your light burning, trusting God's direction. That's why he's impressed you didn't let the haze dim you. Now, he's clearing the air, making your beacon brighter. The paths ahead, the healing you need, they're coming into view. Drawn to a light that shines with his truth and love. The enemy tried to chain your purpose, but you broke free with God's strength. Like Paul, shaking off the viper, you've cast off their poison with faith. He's impressed because you didn't let their bite stop you. You trusted his healing. Now, he's setting you free, placing you where your purpose can soar. The blessings coming will carry you, unshackled, into a season of unstoppable impact. Your heart's been a garden, blooming with faith despite barren seasons. Like the fig tree Jesus spoke of, you've borne fruit when others saw none. He's impressed because you didn't curse the drought, you trusted his rain. Now, he's watering that garden, bringing a harvest of abundance. The dreams you've nurtured are ripening, ready to feed your life and others with his provision. The world tried to dim your vision, but you saw God's light instead. Like Bartimaeus crying out for sight, you've trusted him to open your eyes. He's impressed because you didn't accept blindness, you sought his clarity. Now, he's sharpening your vision, revealing paths of purpose, the opportunities ahead, the restoration you seek, they're clear now, lit by a God who restores what's lost. Your faith has been a flame, burning through the coldest nights. The world tried to snuff it, but you guarded it fiercely. That's why God's impressed you, didn't let the darkness win. Now, he's fanning that flame, turning it into a fire that lights the way. The dreams you've carried, the prayers you've prayed, they're blazing, ready to shine as beacons of his power. Think of Ruth, gleaning in fields with faith in God's provision. You've gleaned too, chosen one, trusting him through lean times. He's impressed because you didn't despair, you kept gathering. Now, he's leading you to a field of plenty where your faithfulness will be rewarded. The blessings coming will overflow, turning your gleaning into a harvest that sustains you and those around you. The enemy tried to steal your peace, but you anchored it in God's presence. They sent chaos, but you found calm in his arms. He's impressed because you didn't trade his serenity for their noise. Now, he's deepening that peace, making it a river that flows through your life. The blessings coming will carry that calm, washing away every trace of turmoil, leaving only his rest. Your heart's been a canvas, painted with God's promises despite the world's doubts. Like Noah building the ark, you've trusted his blueprint through the scoffers' laughter. He's impressed because you didn't stop, you kept hammering. Now, he's launching your ark, sending it into waters of abundance. The dreams you've built are sailing, carrying you to a land of his provision. The world tried to mute your voice, but you spoke God's truth anyway. Like John proclaiming in the wilderness, you've shared his word boldly. He's impressed because you didn't fear silence, you let his message ring. Now, he's amplifying your voice, making it a call that shifts hearts. The words you speak, the prayers you pray, they're echoing, touching lives by his power. Your faith has been a bridge, spanning doubts to reach God's promises. You've walked it, trusting his foundation even when it swayed. That's why he's impressed you didn't turn back. You crossed over. Now, he's strengthening that bridge, turning it into a highway for his blessings. The dreams you've carried, the hopes you've held, they're waiting ahead, ready for you to claim. The enemy tried to cloud your hope, but you shone through with God's light. They sent darkness, but your faith was a star, guiding you forward. He's impressed because you didn't lose sight of his promise. Now, he's clearing the night, revealing a sky bright with his plans. The opportunities ahead, the restoration you seek, they're sparkling. lit by a God who sees your heart. Think of David facing Goliath with a sling and faith. You've faced giants too, chosen one, trusting God's strength over your own. He's impressed because you didn't run, you stood firm. Now, he's toppling your giants, clearing the way for victory. The blessings coming will mark your triumph, a testimony to his power working through your courage. Your heart's been a sanctuary, holding God's peace in a world of chaos, like the temple where Jesus taught. You've made space for his truth. He's impressed because you didn't let the noise invade you, kept it holy. Now, he's filling that sanctuary with his presence, turning it into a source of blessing. The dreams you've carried are blooming there, rooted in his love. The world tried to bury your purpose, but you rose like a seed through the dirt, like Jonah emerging from the whale. You've trusted God's call over despair. He's impressed because you didn't stay in the dark, you followed his voice. Now, he's leading you to your Nineveh, where your purpose will shine. The blessings coming will carry you, a vessel of his redemption. Your faith has been a song, sung through tears and triumphs. Like Miriam dancing by the sea, you've praised God through every trial. He's impressed because you didn't let the waves silence you, you kept singing. Now, he's turning your song into a symphony, a melody of his goodness. The dreams you've held are harmonizing, ready to echo his glory to the world. The enemy tried to steal your joy, but you found it in God's presence. They sent sorrow, but you countered with worship. That's why he's impressed you turned their attacks into praise. Now, he's multiplying your joy, making it a fountain that overflows. The blessings coming will bubble over, spilling into every corner of your life, a testament to his love. Your heart's been a fortress, guarding God's truth against the world's lies. Like Daniel in the lion's den, you've trusted him to protect you. He's impressed because you didn't fear the roars, you stood firm. Now, he's shutting the lions' mouths, leading you to a place of safety. The blessings coming will fortify your life, a stronghold of his faithfulness for all to see. Chosen ones, your faith has been a rudder, steering your life through currents the world couldn't navigate. God saw you this morning, holding steady when waves of doubt crashed hard. That's why he's impressed you didn't let the storm spin you off course. You trusted his direction. Now, he's calming the seas, guiding you to a harbor of promise. The dreams you've carried, the prayers you've whispered, they're anchoring in a place of abundance, charted by his hand. You've been a scribe, etching God's truth onto the pages of your heart. Like Ezra studying the law, you've held his words close, even when the world tried to erase them. He's impressed because you didn't let their ink blot out his message you kept writing. Now, he's turning your pages, revealing a story of triumph and grace. The blessings coming will fill those pages, a narrative that others will read and find hope in. The trials you've faced have been a chisel, carving strength into your soul. Every strike shaped you, not to break, but to reveal your resilience. God's impressed because you didn't dodge the blows, you let them sculpt you. Now, he's polishing his work, showcasing a spirit crafted for his purpose. The opportunities ahead will reflect that craftsmanship, turning your life into a statue of his glory, standing tall for all to see. Your heart's been a beacon, shining through nights others thought endless. Like the star that led the Magi, you've guided others by trusting God's light. He's impressed because you didn't hide your glow, you let it shine. Now, he's making it brighter, drawing those who need your hope. The restoration you seek, the dreams you hold, they're following that light, arriving on a path lit by his favor. The enemy tried to shatter your faith, but you pieced it together with God's truth. They sent cracks, but you filled them with trust. That's why he's impressed you didn't let their blows destroy you. You rebuilt stronger. Now, he's reinforcing your foundation, making it unshakable. The blessings coming will build on that strength, turning your life into a fortress of his promises, a refuge for you and others. Think of Hannah, pouring her soul out to God in silent prayer. You've prayed like that chosen one, trusting him when no one else saw your pain. He's impressed because you didn't stop seeking. You kept knocking. Now, he's answering, opening doors to a season of fulfillment. The prayers you've lifted are bearing fruit, a harvest of his faithfulness that will feed your spirit and touch lives around you. Your life's been a mosaic, made of broken pieces the world discarded. You've trusted God to arrange them into something beautiful. He's impressed because you didn't curse the fragments you gave them to him. Now, he's revealing the pattern, a masterpiece of redemption and hope. The blessings coming will add new colors, turning your mosaic into a work of art that reflects his glory for all to see. The world tried to drown your purpose, but you swam to God's shore. Like Moses in the basket, you've trusted his current to carry you. He's impressed because you didn't fight the waters, you let him guide. Now, he's leading you to a palace of promise where your purpose will shine. The goals you've held are docking safely, delivered by a God who protects his chosen. Your faith has been a flame, burning steady in winds of doubt. The world tried to blow it out, but you shielded it with trust. That's why he's impressed you didn't let their gusts win. You kept it lit. Now, he's fanning that flame, turning it into a fire that warms and lights. The dreams you've carried are catching fire, ready to blaze a path for his kingdom. The enemy tried to steal your peace, but you rooted it in God's presence. They sent chaos, but you found calm in his arms. He's impressed because you didn't trade his rest for their noise. You held fast. Now, he's deepening that peace, making it a river that flows through your life. The blessings coming will carry that calm, washing away every ripple of turmoil with his love. Your heart's been a vineyard, growing faith in seasons of drought. Like the vine dresser in Jesus' parable, you've trusted God to prune and nurture. He's impressed because you didn't curse the dry ground, you waited for his rain. Now, he's sending showers, turning your vines into a harvest of abundance. The dreams you've tended are ripening, ready to pour out his goodness to you and others. The world tried to cage your spirit, but you soared with God's wings. Like an eagle rising above clouds, you've trusted his lift over the storm. He's impressed because you didn't settle for the ground, you aimed for his heights. Now, he's carrying you higher, to places where your purpose takes flight. The opportunities coming will soar with you, designed by a God who loves to see you rise. Think of Samuel, hearing God's voice in the night when others slept. You've listened too, chosen one, tuning your heart to his call. He's impressed because you didn't ignore his whisper, you answered. Now, he's speaking louder, guiding you to a season of clarity. The blessings coming will follow his voice, leading you to a purpose that echoes his truth through your life. Your faith has been a shield, guarding you from the world's arrows. Like David facing Goliath, you've trusted God's protection over your strength. He's impressed because you didn't rely on armor, you leaned on him. Now, he's strengthening that shield, making it unbreakable. The blessings coming will cover you, turning your life into a testimony of his power against every attack. The enemy tried to dim your hope, but you lit it brighter with God's promise. They sent shadows, but your faith was a torch. That's why he's impressed you didn't let darkness win. You shone through. Now he's fueling that torch, making it a blaze that lights the way. The dreams you've carried, the prayers you've prayed, they're glowing, ready to guide others to His truth. Your heart's been a temple, housing God's presence in a world of chaos. Like Solomon building the sanctuary, you've made space for Him despite the noise. He's impressed because you didn't let distractions invade you, kept it holy. Now, He's filling that temple with His glory, turning it into a source of blessing. The dreams you've held are flourishing there, rooted in His love. The world tried to bury your purpose, but you rose like a seed through stone. Like Daniel in the pit, you've trusted God's hand to lift you. He's impressed because you didn't fear the fall, you believed in His rescue. Now, He's raising you up, placing you where your purpose shines. The blessings coming will lift you higher, a beacon of His deliverance for all to see. Your faith has been a song, sung through storms others couldn't face. Like Paul and Silas in prison, you've praised God despite the chains. He's impressed because you didn't let the bars silence you, you kept singing. Now, He's breaking those chains, turning your song into a symphony of freedom. The dreams you've carried are harmonizing, ready to echo His glory to the world. The enemy tried to steal your joy, but you found it in God's presence. They sent sorrow, but you countered with worship. That's why He's impressed you, turned their attacks into praise. Now, He's multiplying your joy, making it a fountain that overflows. The blessings coming will bubble over, spilling into every corner of your life, a testament to His love.